Portland Pilots are the 2016 West Coast Conference champions.
Sharp! In another dimension!
And it's gone! A walk-off two-run home run by Tate Budnick, and the Pilots win it!
The Portland Pilots win their first national championship in overtime!
Welcome back to the Portside Pod. I'm Chris Clements. I'm here again with Rae Bradley. And today we have an awesome new guest, new soccer assistant coach, Ben Zemanski, former Portland Timber. How you doing today?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You got some roots here in Portland. Ended up coaching here now. How's that been for you so far?
It's been fantastic. My wife and I are happy to be back. We lived here for 5 years when I was playing, and almost moved back home close to family, and realized this was like a second home to us, and this opportunity came up, and I couldn't pass it up. I'm excited to be here and excited to be working with this group of young men.
Awesome. We're super glad to have you. So, yeah, you're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. I was born in Pittsburgh. Grew up most of my childhood right outside of Akron, Ohio.
Nice.
LeBron James country.
Yeah, are you on that Rushmore with LeBron and all those guys?
Steph Curry's from there too.
Didn't quite make it, yeah.
On the smaller mountain?
Here on the backside of the mountain. Hey, one day you'll be up there with them. So you went to Akron. You actually played in the national championship, correct? Mm-hmm. And you guys were undefeated going into that game?
Yeah, we didn't. Actually, they counted the semifinal game where we won in PKs. It counts as a tie. But until that, we didn't tie any games either.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Okay. And you played for Caleb Porter, isn't that right?
I did. I played for him all 4 years. His first year at Akron was my first year, my freshman year. So I played for him 4 years at Akron. Played at Chivas USA, and then when Caleb came to Portland, I got traded here and played here for 5 years under him.
That's pretty crazy. What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, Caleb's a mentor of mine, a great coach, and he's a great coach to play under. And I think it was enjoyable to watch his evolution and his development as a coach. Seeing him from his college days to see how he kind of grew throughout that process until now. And so it was a blast, and obviously a blast to play here in Portland for such a great club.
Yeah. So was he your coach when you were in the national championship as well?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of a little bit of redemption for you guys. Went in 2013? No, 15. 2015, sorry.
It was awesome to raise a trophy with them. We raised several conference championships, but to raise the big one at the end, it was a pretty special moment. Yeah,
and kind of something that I've noticed, I've only been in Portland for years, that we kind of embrace soccer more than some other U.S. cities. Why do you think that is? Why is it so different here compared to, I know I haven't been to other soccer cities in the U.S., but it seems like here we really, whether it's the Timbers, the Thorns, or UP, just kind of the atmosphere here is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think UP has a lot to do with that. I think the Clive Charles days, and I mean, he brought soccer to Portland, and the community here embraced it, and I think it has a rightful say to Soccer City USA. I mean, it's a special the Army's a special crowd to play in front of, a special fan base to play in front of. The whole community at large here is it's very tight knit, and it's very, very neighborly. And I think everyone just cares about the sport, and it's a fun place to be for our sport.
Yeah, and in the community that kind of Portland has for soccer, I know you've been around these fields. What do you kind of think of your ranking as far as Merlot compared to maybe Providence Park and those kind of things?
Yeah, you can't compare those two. One's turf and one is one of the best grass pitches I've ever played on. I actually played 2 games here. Played 2 Open Cup games here when I was with Chivas USA.
Oh, yeah.
We played the Timbers here on Merlot, and I'll always remember as one of the best fields I've ever played on. And so, I mean, the climate here, I mean, you can play soccer year-round. In the fall and the spring, you can run for days. I mean, so you just don't get tired in this climate, and the surface gets a little slick, and the ball moves, and it's a great place to play soccer.
Do you know, I've heard that we bring in this grass at Merlot from out of the country. Is that true? Do you know?
Kevin, our groundskeeper Kevin, he's a magician. He he mentioned something. He definitely brings it in. I don't know where he brings it in from, but he has it down to a science. So
Yeah.
I'll let him keep that a secret. And let him keep.
We're gonna get him on here. We're gonna ask him.
We're gonna pry through all
find
those
that
secrets.
secret.
Absolutely, he's incredible though. Absolutely. So when you first got to the Timbers, I know you guys played University of Portland, right?
We did. We played one
kind of
game
exhibition?
at Providence Park. Yeah, it was an exhibition game.
What was that like?
It was an experience. I remember getting pretty heated. It's funny when
That's what we've heard.
Yeah, so we heard that.
when you're on the college side of it. I mean, it's like a World Cup game. It's like what you dream about being able to play against pros. And when you're on the other side of it, sometimes it's the other way, and you just don't want to get hurt, and you don't want to get in tackle. And
Right.
you learn that no matter who you're playing, no matter who the opponent is, you have to show up and you got to play. And it was a competitive game, and kudos to those boys. They brought it, and they were definitely competitive and wanted to win, and that's what it takes to play at the next level. So I think they understood that, and it's just a lesson to be learned there. You gotta show up and play every time you step on the pitch.
Were you kind of aware of the program before then, or is that where you kind of were first introduced to them?
I was first introduced to the program through Michael Gavin. Blair Gavin's one of my best friends from college, and his brother actually played here.
Oh, okay.
And so that's
crazy.
Yeah, so that's when I first became aware of UP. But I didn't know all the traditions. I didn't know all the history of it until I continued to meet more and more people that came through here, like Heath Pierce, Luis Robles, and all these guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, our student section here is unbelievable. I actually went to UC Santa Barbara before, so I've been a part of that. But those two are definitely some of the best in the country, I would say. I don't know what it was like at Akron for you, and as far as like student population supporting and stuff.
No, absolutely. It's such a key element if you want to. I mean, the field, the fan base. I mean, it's a proper soccer environment here. It's not just college soccer here. I mean, this is a proper football pitch, a proper fan base. And it's like I said, it's special for these players. They get to take the pitch here every single game, and you can see how they step on the field, how the excitement that they play with, and I know we encourage them, but I mean they don't need much motivation before they step out of the locker room when they have that fan base behind them. Yeah,
definitely. So back to the MLS Cup and winning that. Do you remember the parade? Did we have a parade for it?
Oh yeah. It was one of the best celebrations I've ever been a part of. I mean,
awesome.
The city knows how to celebrate championships, and we're hoping to bring one here and be able to celebrate with the city.
Yeah, no, they I've seen all the parade stuff for pretty much every other sport, and it looks like an absolute blast. It's just it's crazy.
No, it really was. It really was. They did it right here. They set it. The Timbers set it up really well, and obviously the people came out, and it was a long time coming, I think, for this fan base and this whole city, and the celebration was special.
Yeah, I think that goes back to kind of, you get the Yankees, Red Sox, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Harry Potter, Voldemort, just great rivalries in history, and then you got Timbers Sounders. What was being part of that like? Oh, I mean,
it was a rivalry game, it was a derby game, and I mean, every time you stepped on the pitch, I mean, there was guys across the field that maybe they were friends outside the game, but when you step on the field and go against that team, there was real hate and really, I mean, there was hatred. There was bad tackles, there was heated moments and a lot of drama, and those were big games to be a part of, and it was a lot of fun, and the fact that our city got to raise the first MLS Cup before them, we'll always have that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually, I've seen were you there for the Clint Dempsey ripped
the Open Cup
notebook?
Yeah. I was actually at home. That was the year I tore my ACL.
Oh, okay.
And so I was watching on a stream, and I couldn't tell you what was going on, but it looked like mayhem.
Yeah, I've seen that video too. He just, basically I want to say it was like a bad tackle, something like that, and there were a couple other guys who gotten some red cards in the game, and he picked up the ref's notebook and just ripped it to shreds and got suspended.
For real?
Yeah, like 6 games or something like that.
Yeah. It was, like I said, those games come with a lot of drama.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kind of touching on how you got to the Timbers. So you were traded to the Timbers, right, in 2013. What is that kind of like, being traded?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the nature of all pro sports is whether you're a player or coach. Not a lot of players play in the same place their whole careers, like Sidney Crosby, who we were talking about earlier before the podcast started. But yeah, it's just the nature of it. And I was fortunate enough to play in 2 great cities. I mean, being a kid from Akron, I never lived. I don't even think I went to LA before I got traded there, or not traded, before I got drafted there. So to be able to start my career there, and forever grateful for Chivas USA, RIP. But then going from that to here and a real soccer culture and in this kind of city, it was a lot of fun, and a lot of fun to play in front of this crowd.
Yeah, when you first heard that you were getting traded, was it more like frustration, being upset, or were you kind of just excited to, or both? I
was excited. It came at an interesting time in Chivas USA. I don't know if you know the history, but there's a lot of there's a lot of things going on in the club where people weren't sure the direction of the club, whether they were just going to fold, whether they wanted all. It turned into they wanted all Latin Mexican players on the club. And,
okay.
So it was a big ordeal there, and so. I basically was trying to push my way out, to be honest, just because it was a very awkward time for the club and for players in the club.
You just wanted some solidarity.
Wanted some solidarity. Wanted to play for a team that that basically was going to compete more and was going to be more competitive. And Caleb was in Portland, and was talking to I think my agent was talking to Gavin.
Interesting.
And was able to make that work. Yes.
Okay, cool. So you actually kind of had a hand in this.
I don't know if I had a hand pushing my way out, I think, from Chivas USA. At the same time, I'm forever grateful for that club, and they gave me my first opportunity, and I wouldn't have had the career I did if it wasn't for them. So, I mean, I'm forever grateful for that club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you first got to – that was your first time in Portland – or no, second time in Portland because you came here in college, correct?
Never in college.
Oh, okay.
Never in college. So I played a couple of road games here, obviously. With Chivas USA, we played on the road in MLS, and then we also played a couple Open Cup games here.
Okay, so what was your first thing you did when you got here? Do you know? Do you remember?
First thing I did, we stayed at the Nines. Most of those road trips, it was just straight to training, back for some team meals, and would hang out with some players in the club. Usually play some cards in the room, hang out, and get ready for the game.
Yeah, what is it kind of like being on team planes, being traveling? What do you guys kind of do to pass the time? What is that culture like?
Yeah, it depends on the trip. Depends on the team you're with. Some managers prefer you to be in the hotel all the time. Some managers will let you kind of go and do your own thing and have some free time and explore the city. So it just kind of depends on the manager, the club, even the trip. Some trips you're in the city a little longer. Like if you go on an East Coast trip and you're out there 2 days before a game, sometimes you have an opportunity to kind of venture around the city and kind of hit up a different restaurant or something like that, and then just get ready for the match usually the next day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When you were traveling, did you ever get kind of tired of traveling and wanted to be at home, or did you enjoy kind of getting to see other places?
Yeah, I was a young adult at that time, and I think it was a great experience to be able to get around and see different cities and experience different cities and play in different stadiums. And I mean, it was an awesome experience for me. And then I think as your career goes on, and now married, lived together with my wife for probably the last 7 years. So there comes a time when towards the tail end of the seasons, the tail end of my career, you kind of want to be home. You want to kind of have that stability and not be traveling all around all year. So it's good to be settled down here.
Awesome. Yeah. Speaking of which, after your kind of stint with the Timbers, it looked like you ended up going back to Pittsburgh, getting a chance to kind of play in your home city. Was that kind of the mindset, just kind of find some roots?
Yeah, it was. My wife and I both are, so she's from Akron, Ohio as well, or outside, she's from Hudson. And
did you meet in college, or?
We started dating seriously in college. We actually met in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then went long distance.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, those people don't make it through that.
I know.
Good for you.
I know. A lot of work. We've basically went long distance, and both of us thought that we were gonna maybe want to move back closer to family.
Right.
And so that played a big role in that decision. Thought maybe I'd play my last year there and get into coaching there in Pittsburgh or in that area. And I'd say 4 to 6 months went through that season, and We miss the West Coast tremendously. We miss Portland tremendously.
Yeah.
And like I said to start the podcast, this opportunity came up, and it was very hard to pass up. We love it here, and this is like a second home. We do miss our family, but we get to see them a few times a year still, and still live in a place where we really enjoy.
Yeah, you had a 3-day turnaround or something from playing to coaching, or was it? It was quick, right?
It was quick. Yeah, I was deciding kind of all off season whether I wanted to play another year and keep grinding it out playing, or whether I was happy with my career and wanted to move on to the next steps. And kind of took me, I would say, 3-4 months to be able to make that decision and be 100% okay with it. And then when the day came, I was excited to get into coaching and start this next journey.
So was that in the coming to UP and coaching, was that kind of in the works before, or did it just happen on the spur of the moment and you ended up here?
Yeah, it kind of just happened. I was looking at a couple different opportunities in the soccer world and then a couple outside the soccer world. And Nick just, I think through he knows Caleb pretty well. Caleb was a mentor to him. They came from the same town in Michigan.
Okay.
So he needed an assistant coaching job filled, and my name probably came up in those conversations. And Caleb probably mentioned him that I was mostly looking for a coaching job, and we got to talking and we realized it was a good fit, and very fortunate to be here and be a part of this story program here. It's
kind of crazy how fast that turnaround was for you. What was that? What's it been like so far, your first year coaching now? I know for me, when I was playing, I was more of like a kind of like a feel player. Like I was a baseball player, I was a pitcher. And so it was hard for me to like kind of project what I was feeling onto younger guys. Like I was more of just the kind of guy who would go out there and like I'd feel a ball doing something in my hand. Was it hard for you to be able to kind of like talk to the some of your players and like tell them what they?
No, for sure. I think it's I'm still learning. I'll still continue to learn even 10 years into this job. I think it's part of the reason why I had the career I did playing was I think my ability to read the game, my ability to communicate on the field and help players around me make their jobs easier. And so I think it's kind of comes natural to me, the communication aspect, but at the same time, it's still a process trying to communicate the exact things to each player and try to get through to them kind of what you want out of them in each and every play.
Yeah, I think coaching is a lot harder than maybe some people on the outside make it seem. Everyone thinks they can do a good job. Everyone's a coach. Every single person's a coach until they get into it, and they got to kind of actually figure out how to communicate stuff to players. There's something I've really wanted to ask this whole time. Did you play FIFA with yourself at all?
Every once in a while, I'd go back home. I wasn't too big into video games, to be honest. In college, we'd play a little bit. And then when I first started my career, I lived with one of my best friends, Blair, and we would play a little bit of video games when we'd go back from training. But we didn't play like probably too much FIFA back then. But now when I go home and play with my little brother, we load up the FIFA, and sometimes I would play with our team, or I'd go back home, but not usually.
Okay. So you're not on the LeBron train of things where that's like a second practice for him, almost going home and playing.
Yeah, I was never too into it, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Have you seen your rating?
I haven't.
Is that why you're not so into it?
It's just retired.
No, I don't know. I would imagine you're probably not in this year, but I got it right.
Yeah, let's pull those up. Take a look.
I don't know if I got it up anymore. I want to say your best attribute was your physicality.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so you were just a bruiser on the.
I don't know if that's 100% true. I don't know if I was like the best athlete on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably you were just. Based on your ratings, which I can't get to come up, I don't think my internet's connected, but it looked like you were the type of person who would take out somebody if you needed to. But I don't know. But
yeah, I think I committed fouls. That's just the nature of the position too. But yeah, I wasn't afraid to stop a play.
Yeah, kind of a hockey mentality almost.
Yeah, maybe you could say that.
Yeah, I know. There's always this like big thing with like NBA and Madden where they're always. The players will find out their rating and they'll just be pissed about it and like do everything they can to get higher up in there. So I thought maybe maybe that happened with you. But yeah, I can't get it to come up. So,
do you see any players on this current UP team that kind of maybe remind you of your play style in any ways?
I would say the one that reminds me the most is actually redshirting this year in Easton. I think when Easton plays, he's kind of a leader on the pitch. I think he kind of plays the 6 similar to how I played the 6. Keeps the game really simple. Defensively, tries to read the game and break up plays. And I would say I see my game mostly in him when I look at our current roster.
Gotcha. He seems like he has a kind of physicality too.
Yeah, he definitely does.
I know we got a couple guys that are probably going to go on and play at the next level. Do you got anything that you kind of try to project upon them or like talk to them about it? Or are they just trying to focus on this year and just figure out the rest later on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big piece in youth soccer these days and college soccer where we don't. I mean, of course we want players here that want to play the next level, that have aspirations, that take soccer very seriously, and those are the players we want. But at the same time, you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay present. If you look too far in the future, you take for what you have right here for granted too much, and you lose it. And like the college experience for me was one of the best experiences of my life, as far as the friends I made, competing each and every single day with a group of guys that all have the same goal. When you get to the next level, it's not like that, and you're playing for paychecks, you're playing for your family, you're playing for different things that. Yes, you're a team at those levels, but at the same time, it's more individual. And when you learn how to be a team, when you learn how to play for a team, when you learn how to compete every single day as a team, I think that only makes you better and gives you a chance to play afterwards.
Yeah, I agree. I know that some of the kind of experiences I had in college were so much, like, just so memorable, all the friends I've made and stuff. And then I went up and had a moment, a quick, very like one-day stint in minor league baseball, and you can just tell it's just a business. It's a business from the moment you step off of the college field and into the pro, and it's just completely different. So it's something I feel like maybe I took for granted at sometimes.
For sure, it's easy to. I mean, you're always looking. You kind of look in the future. I feel like the nature of social media now. You're looking at social media, and everything seems perfect in other people's pictures and other people's lives, and you just always want that. But what you have here, I mean, this is a special place. Like we talked about, it's a special place to train and play every single day, and we have a special group. And I think all these guys understand it, and all these guys don't take this for granted, and they shouldn't. And like I said, when you learn those values, those to be a good teammate, to do whatever is possible to help the team, it's only going to help your pro career. If you make it pro, like those are the guys that people want on their team, and so those are like very important values to have. And I think our guys are developing those here. And like I said, it's an exciting group, and I hope these guys do have a chance to play afterwards.
Sounds a little bit like a head coach right there. And do you envision yourself moving up in the ranks in coaching, or do you want to?
He just said, stay in the moment. You're already telling him to get ahead of the ball.
You can have some aspirations. I mean, it's
That's
not
fair.
like
You got to have your goals, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I have a lot to learn as a coach. I know the game just because it's been my whole life, to be honest. My dad was a coach. I grew up in this game. I played the highest level in our country for a number of years, and I understand the game, but like we said earlier, to be able to coach it is different.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning, and I think I do have aspirations to be a head coach one day, but I'm not rushing to meet those aspirations. I'm staying in this moment. I'm learning everything I can. I mean, Nick's a great head coach, and there's a lot to learn from him, and it's been a wonderful time for me to be on the staff and to be contributing, but also soaking up a bunch of information. And so I've enjoyed it and enjoyed my experience here as an assistant. And I think down the road, maybe I could see one day wanting to be a head coach.
Are there coaches or managers overseas in other leagues maybe that you admire, that you want to kind of replicate yourself off of?
I think Jesse Marsh's journey and his path has been something special. I mean, what he did at Anfield in the Champions League was special, and talking to some guys I know, I mean, I think they've all enjoyed playing for him. He has that fiery personality. He's a smart guy, very detail-oriented, and I think I admire him a lot.
Awesome. Do you think kind of being around Caleb Porter so much and then now Nick, that's kind of maybe rubbed off on you during your career to kind of set you up for this coaching career as well? Yeah,
probably. A lot of, I mean, I'd say my biggest mentors in my life were my dad. I was fortunate enough to have an unreal high school coach, to be honest. A really great man, a really great coach, taught me a lot on and off the field. And then Caleb, and then Caleb in the pros. And so, like, I've had a lot of coaches in my life that have been great role models, and it's been easy to try to exemplify what they do.
Yeah, and like you said, it's just a kind of totally different skill set you kind of have to get adjusted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something else is kind of what's the relationship, the difference in relationships from, player to coach in college versus player to coach in kind of pro soccer where every player is a little bit of their own coach.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think in college, I think you're still learning a lot about the game, where there's still a lot of teaching moments in college that have to take place. When you get to the pro level, it's more so about getting the team tactics right and make sure everyone understands their role on the team and just keeping guys sharp. But here, I think there's a lot of technical drills, tactical ideas, a lot of teaching moments that have to occur in this stage of these guys' life to kind of continue to teach them the game in the right way.
Yeah, I think ultimately kind of part of a college coach's job is kind of, setting people up for success outside of the sport, because not everyone's going to be a professional soccer player. Not everyone's going to go play for the Timbers.
Small percent.
Yeah, very small. So it's kind of, I feel like once you got the side of the coaching where you're coaching them as athletes and side where you're teaching them how to be a good person.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's such a fun stage of their life to be coaching and a great place to be. Like these, like you said, like you hit the nail on the head that there's so many values that can be taught in the game. And if you're just focused on the game and that side of it, you're missing the whole life values that are just the teaching moments that can be taught. And I think the game of soccer translates to a lot of the world and a lot of businesses. And if you get those right, if you get those character values right, you learn how to be a good teammate. You learn how to work hard every day. Like you learn these things, it's only going to translate to whatever you'll be successful whatever you do. Yeah,
pretty much any job you have, you're going to be working with a team. You're going to need to be working hard every day, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So just developing that foundation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think some of most of the jobs that you're going to be applying for after your career, just having that on your resume goes so much farther than, maybe that grocery store job that you had or something. I don't know.
That's fair.
Nothing
MLS
to take away from that.
I mean, that's
yeah. I'm in college.
Oh, okay. I got you.
No, yeah. I mean, to be a student athlete, the amount of time management and like the way that these guys have to budget their time, there's not much time. And we talk all the time in the locker room and as coaches, these guys don't have choices.
There's always something to.
They don't have choice. If they want to be successful here, I mean, there's always something they need to be doing, and they gotta choose the right thing.
Yeah.
If they choose the wrong thing, you're not gonna make it here. You're gonna get behind in classes. You're gonna get behind on the field. So these things are all important, and they all translate.
I got two more things for you. First off, 2026 World Cup is finally in the U.S. again. I want to say, you think you're gonna go to that at all?
Absolutely. No brainer.
All right. Well, that answers that.
There you go.
I've always wanted to go to one, so we'll see if I can make the trip.
Where's that at?
I don't.
It'll be all over.
Yeah, I want to say.
Oh, duh.
Are they doing the joint World Cup with Mexico and Canada as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting.
All North America, yeah, I dig it.
Hopefully our team is solid by then.
We have really good young players in our nation now, and I mean I think soccer in our country is just continuing to develop, and it's easy to criticize when things don't go our way, but I think as long as we get back to the fighting mentality that we once had, and with the talent that we have coming up, I think we're going to be in a good place.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to watch. Got high hopes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Christian Pulisic? I might have messed that up.
Pulisic?
Pulisic?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I got there.
He's speaking about like fighting mentality of this guy. I mean, he wasn't in the lineup for the start of his career at Chelsea, and he was facing all kinds of heat from social media, and I think he's turned it around well. He's just continued to battle probably every single day in training, I assume, to find his chance. And when he found his chance, he was prepared for it, and he keeps scoring goals and setting up goals. And so I think he's obviously an exciting young player that is only going to help our national team.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different, but what are your thoughts on Zlatan? I know recently he's been in the news. He's always in the news. Like just for something he says. Do you like how his mentality is kind of you? Yeah,
just because I think that's who he is.
Yeah.
And he's true to it, and I that's just Zlatan. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't been in a locker room with him, so I don't know if. I mean, I just assume that this is just how he always is, from things I've heard, and I think he's just an entertainer and he enjoys it.
He's just talking trash to the other guys in his own locker room. Like,
I mean, maybe.
I don't know where the line stops for him. It seems like
he's probably one of those guys you love being on a team with, and then hate being against him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, I know he's been in the news a lot about Carlos Vela, just and saying that he's a better player than him, but Vela won MVP, I want to say, correct?
He did.
It's good for him. Yeah, so something we kind of do at the end of our podcasts is, I don't know if you've heard the NFL draft interview. They always ask some ridiculous questions. I don't know if the MLS was like that at all.
No, let's go for it though.
Okay, so we just asked a couple of questions, and then we're going to give you a grade where we think it will go in the draft.
All right.
So the first question, what type of fish are you?
Bass.
Oh, that was quick.
All right, yeah.
I like first fish I thought of.
Fair. Are you afraid of clowns?
Yes, severely.
Dude, you got to see it. You got to see the movie It. Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
You seen it?
Have you seen it too?
My wife likes horror films. I don't like them.
Okay.
Yeah, clowns are probably my least favorite.
Awesome.
Is that movie a little traumatic or?
No, that movie's okay. Just clowns in general, though.
I gotcha, for sure.
All right, if you were shrunk down to the size of a nickel,
I love this one,
and stuck in a blender, what would you do?
Lay flat.
Yeah, we actually pulled that one from. Have you seen the movie The Internship?
I have.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they say.
That is crazy.
Yeah, subconscious. Ages ago when I saw that film.
That's so funny. Melted snow is clear. So what color is snow?
White.
Okay.
All right. I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah,
I want to say that the people in the NFL draft interview got mad at them for saying white, and they said that it was actually snow is clear because melted snow is clear.
Yeah, like the guy asking the questions got him to change his answer. It was very strange.
Sticking with white. I've seen it.
All right. Awesome. I love it. That's probably what they're looking for. Just confidence.
Yeah.
Sticking with
outside the box.
All right. Last one. How many ways can you use a brick in a minute?
17.
Cool. Yeah. No, I don't think we'll.
I don't have to describ them, right?
No, I mean,
just
I don't want to hear all the
17 ways.
I think we all know the 17 ways you can use a brick.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, there's exactly 17.
Yeah. 18.
No more. 18 is too many. I can only do 17.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what do you think where do you think in the draft he'll go?
I think probably round 3, maybe number 47, something like that.
Probably supplemental draft. That's when I got drafted.
Yeah, I was gonna give you a little bit higher. I was gonna go like late round 2, but I mean, I love the confidence. That's all that matters in these.
Yeah.
I want to say I really don't think they care what your answer is unless it's like something outrageous.
I was looking for more of a trout man, but bass is all right too. That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
bass or marlin. I just decided to stay freshwater.
Oh, okay. I feel that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got anything else?
No, thank you so much for being with us. It was awesome talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Cheers, guys.
I guess we can start then.
We're doing the opening now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think you can do it off the top of your head?
Find out.